Okay, the craziest offseason ever in the history of sports, of any kind of sport ever, is chugging right along. If you are not familiar, we have a breaking report. Deshaun Watson waiving his no trade clause to come to the Cleveland Browns. Absolute insanity. You're tuned into the Cleveland Pulse. Justin's getting a cheese pizza. He's coming back 10 minutes, he said. I got things to do on Twitter. I'm putting stuff out. We've offered Jadeveon Clowney 2 years, $24 million. That is totally on the back burner. I was even thinking about going live for that, but whatever. Here we are. So from Ian Rappaport, let me get this up on the screen really quickly for you guys. How's everybody doing? How's it going? Let's get involved. 8 people live already. Wow, wow, wow. They all laughed at us. I saw somebody today, not a verified account whatsoever, just a fan theory saying that we blew up everything with Baker because we still had a chance. And he was actually making valid points. And I was like, yeah, maybe not, who knows? Insanity. You got all of Atlanta, you got the Migos, you got Trey Young, everybody reaching out and saying Deshaun Watson's got to come home. I never bought this narrative that him being the ball boy for the Falcons was this big thing. Like, okay, yeah, he's from Atlanta. That's one thing. I understand. Similarly, I never thought that the weather was that big of a deal. Now, if you wanted to make the argument that, all right, the AFC is absolutely stacked, you don't want to play in the AFC North, I totally would have understood that. The NFC is kind of a cakewalk to get to the playoffs. You got to go through Brady. So he was in the division where he was going to have to play Brady 2 times a year. That probably wasn't very helpful if you went to Atlanta. But, oh my gosh, how are we feeling? I got to tweet this out. I'm getting the tweets up. I'm doing everything. I need Justin here. He's coming. Let's get involved. Let's check this out. Fully guaranteed 5 years, $230 million contract, $80 million more than the previous record for fully guaranteed money at signing, $150 million. This deal was negotiated by David Mulgeta of Athletes First. We're going to look that guy up too when we get the chance. But holy moly, I'm putting the invite link in the description below if anybody wants to hop on. I know people love getting involved and we want to hear from you guys. So if you're in here, we appreciate you. A little hectic start, as you might imagine, because talk about kind of a total mess here. Never thought that this was going to be the case. Never thought that Deshaun Watson was coming to us after we heard news that we were the first team that he said that he was on the outs. Apparently Andrew Berry never stopped recruiting him. What a turn of events. What an NFL offseason. Let's get involved with people in the chat. Fulam1, looks like we're going to keep Keenum on the roster now. Maybe. They have to make a decision on him today. Could get rid of him, keep Mullins. Spencer, what's up? Michael H., Fulam, Ashton, John, and JP. We got the JPs live in the building. Only one Zay. Wow. Karen, what's going on? I think the Browns should have kept their mouth shut until after the Watson interview. Also, they should have never slammed Baker. You might not have done well. Lots of controversy, a lot of things going on. Who knows what, I think the strategy the whole time, it seems like now, looking back on it, hindsight is 2020. I always tell people that, but it seems like the public slamming of Baker Mayfield was kind of that they thought they still might have a chance with Deshaun Watson. I know that sounds weird in retrospect, in hindsight, that sounds like kind of like a cop-out, but at the same time, I don't know. It's just crazy situation. Kongzilla, Super Bowl time. We finally got an elite quarterback. The AFC is still not going to be a cakewalk. It's still not like this is the situation that people didn't understand, I think. Does Deshaun Watson put us in the Super Bowl contention? Yes, he does. But there is no guarantees in the National Football League. There is no, there's no guarantee you make the playoffs, win a playoff game, go all the way. So that's what I don't think people understood from the get-go, that this is just one piece, obviously a huge piece. But if we're being realists, you still have a defensive line to fix. You still have a wide receiving core that is very, 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 very thin. You have Amari Cooper and basically nobody, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Anthony Schwartz, obviously, but you lose Higgins, you lose Jarvis Landry. Do you lose Jarvis Landry, though, now? I think your next move, and I'm not a capologist, I need people in here who actually know the cap and know the numbers pretty well, but is your next move called Jarvis? Hey, we'll give you $20 million for 2 years. We'll give you $10 million a year. Just come back, play slot for us. You're still serviceable. You're going to know Stefanski's offense better than anybody. If anybody could get Deshaun Watson acclimated to Kevin Stefanski's offensive scheme, offensive game plan, it's going to be Jarvis Landry. It's not going to be Amari Cooper. You're going to have a lot of moving pieces, similar to how the defense was last year. If you remember, Joe Woods took those guys a while. Cole Beasley, love the Cole Beasley shout. Love the shout. Before we keep going, I'm hyped up. Join the stream. If you want to talk, the first link of the bio, it should be there. It's a StreamYard link. You could join up and you could talk. I'll bring you on while we're waiting for Justin, and you could come in here and say your 2 cents, agree, disagree with the move, love it, hate it, too much money, whatever, not enough money, perfect move. Obviously, total craziness. Maybe Odell comes back. Odell, Jarvis. I think what's going on in the chat is perfect because now we're just a free agent hub. I think we've, in the last 20 minutes, we've totally transformed to maybe nobody wanted to come to us. We're going to have to overpay people to now we're so much more attractive. That's a big thing. Haven't heard a lot of people talking about as far as us in free agency. It sounded like we really were kind of struggling. I'm texting people. People are DMing me. Josh Gordon? No, I don't think so. Pick up the phone. Here we go. Listen. Hello? Who is this? Oh, this is Antonio Brown. Call Antonio Brown. People are going to roast me for that. Just call him. Just see what he wants. See what he wants to do. He won a suit. People forget. We got these real short memories. Antonio Brown's a Super Bowl champ. Elite route runner. So what is he? He's a head case. We're a head case hub. We just moved for Deshaun Watson. We're head case hub right here. Kareem Hunt, we forget about that. And we forget about Myles Garrett assaulting somebody on the football field. I'm against assault. But geez, it's like, who cares about, head cases? They're all head cases. I've made this point a multitude of times. If I'm going off, somebody check me. We need Justin in here. He's coming. He was getting a pizza. Swish Life Media. Yeah, 216 to land. Crazy. Let's go, Browns. I'm looking for trade compensation. Does anybody have it? From our breaking news second, Baker Mayfield will now be traded. Whoa. Breaking news here from Ian Rappaport. Baker Mayfield's going to be traded now? Wow. I know he's just doing his job. I'm giving him a hard time. Member of the Browns. Big price. Browns and Texans still must finalize the trade for Deshaun Watson, but Cleveland has always been willing to exceed Houston's price. 3 first-round picks plus at least 2 other assets, a massive deal to be completed soon. 3 firsts, Ashton. Let's do predictions right now. Throw predictions down in the chat. And if you want to join, the stream link is in our bio. I'm thinking it is. It'll bring you into a weight room. We got 18 people here. Thumbs the video up. Yes, it's the first line of the description. StreamYard.com. That'll bring you in. We'll bring you on. We'll talk to you. We'll talk with the chat. Baker's gone. No more commercials. Dude, Progressive is sweating bullets. Progressive is like, this is the only money that we have besides Flo. Like, he's their big name athlete. Obviously, they have other people, but I just thought him moving out would be a funny commercial. So hard to be a Cleveland sports fan. Yeah, you're correct. Correct, mother. You're very correct. We got the family in here. The family's showing out. The family's representing. We appreciate it. Yeah, it's an up and down roller coaster. Who knows what's going on? I'm going to tweet out our link. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, make sure that you like the video if you haven't liked the video. And yeah, let's do predictions in the chat for the trade package, because I'm thinking 3 firsts. Let me put this out here on record. I'm thinking 3 firsts. Denzel. I'm thinking 3 firsts. Denzel Ward. Maybe Baker. Sounds like they didn't want him, but what reporting can you trust? I've seen this. I've seen blue checks. I've seen people who are unverified. I've seen it all the last week. I haven't got a lot of sleep. I'm up all night listening to Twitter Spaces. I'm on Twitter looking at reports. I don't know who knows the truth. So the only reports I've heard is that they didn't want Baker, but Wait, Mike, what are you saying? What are you saying? Baker Mayfield is not in the deal. When he's dealt, it'll be a separate. But I mean, all right, here's the thing. See, this obviously this hurts what you're going to get for Baker, which is fine. We don't really care. But I think you could have got a second and or maybe 2/3 before this for Baker. But now it's like we know we have to move off him, so the asking price is way down low. Ashton, I really do think it's gonna be 3 firsts, Denzel and Kareem Hunt, and that's gonna be steep. That's gonna be a tough pill to swallow. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be hefty. Make sure you're seated when that news does break, when we break the news here, because it is going to be a lot. I'm gonna get this link out on Twitter. And we're going to go from there. Any other thoughts in the chat? Please, somebody help guide me. I'm a frazzled mess right now. I'm working solo. I thought today was going to be, pretty quiet of a day. I thought the Browns were totally out. I see that Carolina, they didn't want to guarantee all the contract. They didn't want to guarantee the 5 or the 3 years. We got our first guest. Let's dial it in. Zach Hunter.
What a day to be a Cleveland Browns fan.
Talk to me. What's going on?
Oh, my gosh. I'll tell you, it was a slow Friday. It's a little rainy down here in Columbus, but this brightened my day right up. I'm excited. I'm fired up. Let's start the season tomorrow.
Isn't that the craziest part? When is week 1? September?
I don't know.
Our schedule is out, but how are you feeling? How expensive it? $46 million a year annually, $150 million guaranteed at signing. That's for cap reasons. I don't even know what his cap hit is going to be this year, but those are all things we're going to figure out and work through. How's it going?
Forget about it. It doesn't matter. This is what we had to do to win. We knew this. We knew this last year. Listen, you know me. I've been saying this for a year and a half. This is what we need to do to win. When you look at our offense, there was one clear weakness, and it was behind center. And it's just unacceptable at the NFL level. You just can't do it. You can't win games that way.
No, you can't win games this way. And how about Sport Track already on it with the Browns helmet? He's going to be 27. This is what people didn't understand, too. He's younger than Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is not some spring chicken. I hate to break that to people, but he's 5 months younger than Baker. They're claiming that his base salary this year is going to be $35 million. I don't know if that's going to be converted into signing bonus. This is what they do. They bring him in and they're going to go, we're going to convert this to signing bonus, kick the can down the road. It's claiming to have a $35 million cap hit with no dead cap. I don't know if this is official yet. We're going to keep an eye out on that. We're going to people in the chat. Mike, I was thinking the same thing. I think Allen Robinson, he didn't finesse himself because he's going to be elite in that system. And I think that was a great move for both parties there. But I would have loved for him to wait one more day, come to us on a deal. But now it's like, do you rework with Jarvis Landry? Do you think OBJ is willing to come back if the sole reason really was Baker Mayfield? How do you feel about that, Zach? Do you think OBJ is in? You think he would come back?
I think Cleveland it's done. I don't think the fan base gave him the chance to be able to have the opportunity to come back. I saw plenty of hate for his time in the Super Bowl. There's a consistent viewer,
plenty of hate.
Definitely a part of that hate on here that's not on here now. But it wasn't just him. Too much hate for OBJ to come back. I don't think he'll see himself as accepted, nor do I think he wants to. What I'm curious, do we have any update? Is Kareem staying, or is he a part of this trade?
Well, we don't know trade package right now. I would say that Kareem is probably included, but that's just me. There's got to be news, right? 4 minutes ago from Rappaport, nothing. Member of the Browns, for real. Everybody's got it, though. And so here's the thing. So now we have to trade Baker. So you're getting something back for that. And now it's a total pivot where if you could give somebody, if we could get like a player back for them, which I don't think people are going to do, but I was intrigued with Seattle. I don't think Seattle would part ways with one of their big wide receivers, Lockett or Metcalf. But it's like at this point, you're either going to get a pick and you're going to get somebody back.
3 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a 5th-rounder.
Says who?
Mary Abbott.
No way.
55 seconds ago.
Any players involved? If we could keep everybody on the roster, that would be ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Did we keep everybody on the roster?
That's what it's looking like.
3 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a 5th-round pick, and no player assets. Wow, that changes the whole game. I thought we were going to be missing somebody for sure.
I thought at least Hunt. At least.
I thought at least a corner. I thought at least they were going to want Denzel or Greg Newsome. But here's the thing now. Back to the free agency. Clowney's coming back 100%, I think. Even if we offered him before this happened, we offered him 2 years, $24 million. So if this is the case, that's incredible. I saw this, Ashton. I don't know. He's old, so I don't know. I can't differentiate if people move off of people because of cap or move off them because they just don't want them anymore. Like, is it because they're freeing up cap or they just don't want to pay them? So, Mike, this is so true. Embrace the Rams. We don't need those picks. Because here's the thing. We're going to have a 2nd-round pick this year. Andrew Berry's last 2 2nd-round picks have been Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and Grant Delpit, I believe. Those are both first-round guys. Those are both first-round assets in the 2nd round. You're going to be able to get a wide receiver in the 2nd round this year. You're going to be able to get Jahan Dotson, David Bell, who knows, Sky Moore. You're going to be able to get a Sky Moore in the 2nd round of this year. Packers trade for Baker to piss off Rodgers again? Zach, any comment? Zach Hunter is the resident Packers, or the resident Aaron Rodgers stan.
Aaron Rodgers, Aaron over the hill Rodgers. That's what you have to say when you say it, because that's the first thing that comes to mind. What, MVP two out of the last 3 years? I mean, it just doesn't get much better. Yeah, I'm glad that we held out, for our franchise QB Baker Mayfield and didn't get him last year, because that would have turned out terrible. But here we go. We've got something better. We've got a young talent. Everyone was worried. Rodgers come in, you trade for him with Baker. Oh, you get a year or 2 out of him, and he's gone forever. That's not going to be the case with Deshaun.
Dude, is this the best conference of football in the history of the league, the AFC, this upcoming year? Devontae Adams to the Raiders last night. Of course, Cincinnati coming off a Super Bowl win. Baltimore's added pieces all offseason. Pittsburgh's not going to be schlubs. Justin Herbert and the Chargers are absolutely unbelievable. Of course, you got Mahomes. You got the Bills. You got other people in the conference. It is going to be a mess with the Browns in the thick of it.
Forget about the AFC. Just think about the AFC North.
The AFC North is crazy.
Trubisky.
I think Will Fuller was a pistol. I think Will Fuller was waiting to see where Deshaun went, and then he was following. You get some. Here's the thing, and I'm literally working on a video right now. I was working on a video called the Deshaun Watson Saga. I was going to upload it anyway, just talking about the timeline of everything that happened. Now it has a different ending. Lovely. Russell Wilson. I forgot about Russell Wilson. Will Fuller, I think, is a lock to us, 100%. You have Amari Cooper, and that, I think, at the end of the day, which it was a happy accident, trading for Amari Cooper might have been a really, really, really big arguing point for our front office. Carolina, okay, they have DJ Moore, they have Robbie Anderson, they got McCaffrey. Came out today, they didn't want to guarantee the contract. So that put them out. His agents wanted guaranteed money, whatever. Atlanta, who is he throwing to in Atlanta? Kyle Pitts. He loves the hometown that much. He wants to go play in a dome and throw to Kyle Pitts. And who's their running back? Mike Davis. And then New Orleans. It's like, okay, Alvin Kamara. Who knows what's going on with him? I don't even know if talk about more legal issues. And Michael Thomas hasn't played a full season, 2 or 3 years? And their offensive line is losing their best their best tackle and no new head coach. So like we were always the clear-cut decision for him. And now it's just like I can't even believe we're at this point because it should have just been a done deal from the start as soon as we were involved. Dude, Nick Chubb in Watson. Imagine the play action potential here, Ashton. Imagine.
Trying to see what the updated Super Bowl chances are now. I bet Vegas is going crazy right now.
Vegas has got it off the board. Mike, if you want to get involved, link in the first link of the bio or description, whatever. Guardians. Saints would have to create more cap space. I never saw the Saints. I just was hearing warm weather this, warm weather that, total mess outside of everything else. So, Zach, what else do you got for us? Anything? Do you need to hop off? Are you free? Are you swamped?
Gonna hop off in a minute. Last thing I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Browns Super Bowl odds just got cut in half.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cut in half.
Cut in half. Apparently
Wow.
Vegas didn't appreciate Baker as much as our fan base did.
And we just have moves that just keep on coming in. And if you think all right, Zach, if you gotta hop off.
I'll see you.
Appreciate you, bro. Love the quarter zip. Go Browns.
Had to put it on. Staying on the rest of the weekend.
Deuces. Zach Hunter, ladies and gentlemen. Like the video. Like the video for Zach Hunter. I'm out of the frame. Like the video. Not the first live stream where I'm doing today. I'm gonna be live streaming later, hopefully with hopefully Justin maybe comes out and hangs out. But we're gonna be live for the Cavs game too. So maybe we'll just run this live stream right into the other live stream. You never know. But we got some more breaking news, apparently, from JPA football. Man, it's got to be the best conference ever, does it not? Breaking: Chiefs are signing wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. Ooh-wee! Oh, baby. Load them up. Load everybody up, and we'll go toe-to-toe with you. And I'm going to be there. I'm just going to be hanging out the whole time. Mike's on it as well. The offseason is still young. Facts. That's just solid facts. It's only not even been a week into the offseason. We just had the combine. People are having their pro days. The draft is quickly approaching in Las Vegas at the end of April. Then you got OTAs. Then you got training camp. Man, Chiefs getting better too. Nobody's getting worse, it seems like. Who's getting any worse? The NFC is just losing players as far as I'm concerned. Oh, man. Mike's at the airport. Shout out, Mike. Yes, I think we're gonna ship him off. And now I don't really care where he goes. If he wants to go to Indy, cool. We'll send him to Indy. Indy's not going to be able to compete. Send him to Seattle. He's not going to have any time behind that Seattle line. Like I would feel bad for him because I just don't think a lot of Browns fans thought this was how it was going to go. I think that if you were partially realistic, you knew that we were going to explore other options. You knew we were going to look at other upgrades, especially just clear-cut upgrades like this move. But as much as I advocate for it being a business, and I'm still on that standpoint, to this moment, to this day, you got to be cordial with people. I'm not all for dirty business. So I feel bad for the situation. I feel bad for Baker to some extent because I don't think he deserved it to work out like this. We got Justin in the building. What's going on, dude?
Crazy turn of events. I mean,
crazy.
It's hard to even fathom. Just got done with a whole day of work with pups and stuff. Had been a good time. Gwen got me cheese pizza. It's Lent. And, I mean, all right. This is a lot to talk about, Jeff. Thank you for holding it down for 20 minutes and so without me. I don't know where to start. In that 20 minutes of time, I'm driving and I'm getting text messages and a ton of different stuff blowing up, and it's crazy. It's really hard to, for me to just come in here and kind of derail what Jeff's been talking about. Obviously, I want to give my 2 cents and everything and not totally derail everything. But
no, you're good, bro. I want genuine thoughts.
I think there's 2 sides of this, and there's obviously the one very non-football side of it and the one very football side of it. And I feel like both need to be talked about very fairly and in a way. I think there are certainly amount of people that are going to be upset with this.
100%.
I could show you texts. If I could hide the names on these texts, I have a lot of people just straight up like so upset right now, like texting me and everything. One of them's watching the show and he was like telling me I need to get on here so I can like talk about it and whatnot.
Tell him, come on.
And it's weird because my mom, she's not a very big football fan and she's not a huge Browns fan. But ever since me and my dad got season tickets and we got super into it since they've been good for the past, or at least relatively good for the past 4 years, she's been getting into it more. And she was so happy yesterday when I told her about Deshaun not coming here. And then I don't know what her reaction is going to be when I tell her that she is or he is, but it's just very evident that there's going to be like a rift, I think, in the general public of Cleveland Twitter, Browns Twitter, and whatnot.
Fan base divided, dude.
Yeah, and I think, it's interesting because we have women in the industry, in the journalism industry, that are reporting on the situation. And it's interesting because I don't think I've seen personal takes yet from them. Mary Kay, who has been someone that has reported everything and has absolutely just been on point. She tweeted all the way back at the end of the season about the rift between Baker and the staff and everything. And now we see, hey, that's coming to fruition. And, that's, I would like to hear her opinion on things. And we have Cameron Justice, who's another reporter for the Browns that I'd be interested to hear their opinions. But
we have women on the coaching staff. We have women in the front office. A woman is half the ownership. But so it's all fair. It's all fair points.
There is the opposite side of it where you do have to take into consideration. We did take in Kareem Hunt after his allegations in a very public video. We have guys on the roster that have made poor decisions and done things out of line, and that's also been, a part of it. For Deshaun's sake, it's tough to really get upset, or it's not tough to get upset, but it's, there's the saying, it's proven, or until proven guilty, you're innocent, or however that saying goes. But it's hard when it's 22 allegations of sexual misconduct, and I don't know how to process this as a fan and as a journalist, because the journalist part of me just wants to report on the facts. Hey, is this an improvement from Baker Mayfield? Yes. Is this a huge turning point in the franchise history? It could be. That's something left to be seen. There's so many different things. I was trying to listen while I was driving back to Jeff. He was talking about the AFC. The AFC in general has just completely taken not 180, but has just gotten better. Devontae Adams goes to the Raiders. The Broncos trade for Russell Wilson. There's a lot going on, and it's really tough to get into more of that because of the other issues. And I think the next most interesting thing that'll happen isn't free agency based. It's the comments that will come from Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski.
Oh yeah, they're going to have to answer for this.
Yeah, and I wonder what the answers will be. Or, I hope the questions are asked, the difficult questions are asked. I hope we don't just get a statement and that's that. But in terms of Deshaun Watson, the player, here's what I'll say. Is he an improvement from Baker Mayfield? From what we've seen, absolutely. 100% absolutely. And that's what they said that they would only go out and try to get is a massive improvement from Baker Mayfield. He hasn't played in a year. And that's scary. Obviously, what has he been doing in that year? Has he been, practicing? I believe he was with the Texans the whole time. I don't know if he was practicing or not. I don't know. I'd have to go and really research that. But in 3 seasons that he's been a full-time starter and whatnot, 2 winning seasons, 2 trips to the playoffs, and 1 4-12 season. But that 4-12 season, he kind of, popped off and went for 70% completion, 4,800 yards and 33 touchdowns and 8 or 7 interceptions. Those are just crazy stats. Of course, the team was playing bad and they were bad, but man, it's a lot to take in all at once. I know we've talked about this scenario, but it's way different in the moment of that. You have confirmation it's happened, and it's here. So I know I rambled quite a bit.
No,
I don't really know.
We need
where I
that
stand.
ramble.
So, chat. Appreciate you all being here. Don't know how many of you guys are here right now. 21 of you. Really appreciate
We have
a
a guest. So
yeah. Bring him in.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
Absolutely.
we're going to Yanni P on the phone. Dude, just turn his camera off.
There he is.
What's
going on, everybody?
What's going on, brother? How you doing? Long time no see, huh?
Can we hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Can't hear anything.
Oh, he can't hear us. Technical difficulties. What is this man? 26
This
years old?
This is not good. I can't hear.
Oh,
he needs to wake up.
What is he doing?
Sorry.
Oh, rip.
He's out. Yanni P's out.
What a ripperoonie there.
Shout out to Yanni P though. Legit follower.
Was looking good. Just couldn't work he's like a senior man.
One of the best supporters of the Cleveland Pulse. So
absolutely,
he really should. We're on a little bit delay. I would say pull the stream up and listen to us, but we're on a little bit delay. Zach was in here, no issues. We had people who can't hear though. It is a little bit confusing. I don't know how to fix that, but
so the compensation, Jeff. I didn't even get into talk about
the compensation.
3 picks, a third round pick, and a fifth round pick.
Three firsts, yeah.
So
we keep a second this year. We have a second round.
We keep all of our seconds, correct?
Yeah.
So, I think it's very similar to what the Rams did. Obviously, I think the Rams had a lot of things set up. I think their defense was practically like the same set for a while now. Same group of people. They even brought back Eric Weddle when their safety got hurt and whatnot. But it's in the scheme of football, it's potentially the same exact move where you're like, hey, this is oh my God, goodness.
Call him up.
Please, no. Listen, we're not going to get into that right now, but it really is the Rams move for Matthew Stafford last year. This is a team that you think, 1 year removed from the playoffs, can go back to the playoffs and, go to the final destination, make it to the Super Bowl, and play for a Super Bowl. We just watched the Bengals, who I think at the beginning of last season, no one had pegged for the Super Bowl. And, things happen in the NFL. The NFL is always competitive, no matter, what time of the day it is, what time of the year it is. It's always competitive. And it's going to be interesting because, man, that AFC schedule is going to be tough. We have to play the Bengals twice. We have to play the Ravens twice. The Steelers we have to play twice. We don't know, they're always competitive.
Juju just signed with Kansas City too before you hopped on.
Interesting.
1 year, I think he got like 10 or 11 million.
Wow. That's interesting. I didn't think he was going to get that much for the year he had and after his injury, but that's interesting.
John, can you hear us?
Round 2. No. Oh, come on. You're getting married in like a year. What are you doing?
He's out. He can't even work the phone.
You're supposed to be our age. You're supposed to know how technology works. I swear he's an old man. But, man, I'm going to pull up the projected schedule and see,
I was going to say, Spencer, I was literally just going to look. The projected schedule is much easier than last year if looking at it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the Jets are going to be maybe a little bit better. We play Washington. We get Tom Brady at home. We get New England at home. Obviously, you got to play the division. We are playing the NFC South. So you get the Falcons, you get the Panthers, you get the Saints. Those are going to be games we're going to be favored in, I would think, off the rip.
So our home games are the Bengals.
You got to worry about this. You got to think about the suspension.
Yep, absolutely.
You got to think Keenum's staying on the roster now.
Yep, absolutely. So you have the Bengals, the Chargers, the Patriots, the Saints, the Jets, the Steelers, the Buccaneers at home. So obviously Bengals, Chargers, Patriots, Steelers, Buccaneers. Those are all games that you could toss up in the air, and if you're not as gung-ho as we were last year making the predictions, would say those are, tough games. Win or lose, tough games. Then away you have the Falcons, the Ravens, the Bills, the Panthers. Wait, why didn't it say the Ravens at home? It did. It's just there's a huge gap. So the Ravens are also in there. Away is the Falcons, the Ravens, the Bills, the Panthers, Bengals, Texans, Dolphins, Steelers. So there you're looking at the Ravens, the Bills, Bengals, maybe the Dolphins, and the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's 10 games in there where you just don't know. I mean, the suspension, competition. There's a lot. There's a lot going on there. So,
Justin, we're going to try to bring in a different guest. See if it's our issue with the audio. Spencer, can you hear us?
Fellas, I can hear you.
Wow.
You hear me?
It's definitely a John issue. Spencer, what's going on?
Yeah, it's for sure a Yanni P issue. So how do you guys even feel? Like, are you down for Deshaun or?
Jeff, do you want to go first with that?
It's a tricky subject. Me and Justin have tried to differentiate. We haven't even really talked about it that much. We talked about that we were in the sweepstakes, but we've tried to separate the pulse from the discussion, really being transparent. You know, we've talked about it personally. We've discussed how we feel, and we are here to cover the team. And this is going to sound like a cop-out. This is going to sound like a non-answer, but we've actually had difficult conversations and have gone back and forth with how do we cover this effectively, you know, doing this as our side hobby, doing this as our, you know, something we just really like to do, and keeping it that way, keeping it something we like to do. So I think we're just going to have to talk about the team. I think the other issues, there's going to be, you know, a fan base divided. So that's kind of how we've agreed. Justin, do you think anything else there?
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. And like I said, when I came on, I think that, you know, I have people around me already within that 20 minutes of the news coming out. I had people texting me not so happy. And that was like one of the first things I came on and addressed is like, there's going to be a huge division between Browns fans and people in general, I think. And like Jeff said, obviously we're going to try to keep this as professional as possible, but you have journalists in the industry that I think eventually will come out with their own opinions and ask questions to Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. And that's when you'll get like a really in-depth kind of look at what this team is projecting and stuff. So Spencer, how about you, man? What are you feeling?
Yeah, man, I'm kind of with you guys. Like, I got to keep my church and state separate here between how I like Deshaun and how I like the Browns. But yeah, honestly, it's a complete down the line 50-50 split. I mean, really, I got to wait till training camp, the first 2 weeks to see how he performs. I mean, as a football player, that's great, right? He's young, talented. He's younger than Baker, which I didn't even know prior to, you know, the sign or the news of him wanting to come to the Browns. But yeah, we'll just have to, only time will tell, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting because like, what is the contract? It's 5 years, 230, right, Jeff? Or something like that?
It's 5 years. It's all guaranteed, which is what he really wanted, was the big thing. 5 years, $230 million.
Is that, I mean, did Aaron Rodgers even get that in his new deal? Like,
no, highest guaranteed given to an NFL player ever.
That's crazy. I don't know that that's a smart move. At the end, I think the only like justification to this, you know, inside and out, is obviously the Super Bowl. That's the same thing that would have been said with the Rams. And it's the same thing that would have been said with any team that makes a huge, you know, the Broncos with Russell Wilson. It's like, whatever you're giving up for this potential player, it better end up in the result of a Super Bowl. And we'll just have to see. I mean, I think we're in currently one of the hardest years by the looks of it as a conference for football. And it's just going to be truly interesting. We've thought each time it comes down in the past 2 years to like the last couple of weeks of who's going to make it through like 5 through 7, who's going to be the wild card and all that jazz. We might not know who are going to be or division champs for a long time, especially in the AFC North and that division with the Chargers and the Broncos and all of them. So it's tough, man. It's really tough to gauge here.
Yeah, I just think all the way around, like even from the Baker side, like business is business. I've seen people point it out on both sides. The Browns are in the interest of winning football games. Then there's the legal issues. So that's going to be the divide. But we are at the point with the National Football League in specific. I really don't feel this way about a vast majority of, you know, NBA fans or the vast majority of MLB fans. your decisions as a front office and as a executive member of a team, like I've been thinking about this a lot over the past couple of days. You're like playing with these people's lives, especially Cleveland Browns fans. Like people are diehard Browns fans either way. People that didn't want him were diehard Browns fans. People that do want him are diehard Browns fans all the way around. So you're like, you have to make decisions with it in mind that, okay, you know, if the Browns are really good, if the Browns get playoff games, you know, the city of Cleveland is affected either way with the decisions that you make, you know, positively, negatively, for the better, what you portray to the fans, how, you know, people look up to pro athletes. There's so many different factors where I don't know, man. It's difficult to talk about, Spencer. I don't know if you've had similar thoughts like that or just anything in general.
No, I mean, I agree with you 100%.
It's
like,
tricky.
I just have to really, this whole free agency has thrown me for a loop, honestly.
Yeah, totally agree.
It's interesting. I mean, listen, no first round picks, so no longer going to be talking about wide receiver or, you know, D line or quarterback at round 1. But now you look at round 2, free agency. Jeff talked about it before. Players are probably going to think you become a way more, you know, interesting look with essentially an offense that is completely built. You might look at center and maybe just getting some backup offensive linemen, and you do need to go get a wide receiver too with DPJ being your only wide receiver too. That might be fine. I mean, Amari Cooper being here is phenomenal for Watson, and you have David Njoku. Ooh, we have Turner Murdoch in the chat. Oh boy!
How about these numbers right here? Because is this Rodgers' new deal? I think this is Rodgers.
That's what I was saying.
New deal, which is a little bit like, this is probably Rodgers being petty. Like, can I just get like a little bit more than Josh Allen? And then the Mahomes. People said it when Mahomes was signed, and I totally agreed with them. I don't even know if we talked about it or something like that. He was, regardless of it worked out. Let's just say if it did work out, if it worked out, he was going to look like an absolute bargain in a couple of years. And I just think that's for like anybody. Like, you see Devontae Adams as a deal. Like, I don't know if paying one player this much is a good way to run your franchise. I still think that's, you know, to be seen when it comes to playoffs, you know, success, Super Bowl success, whatever. But it's like that contract isn't really working out. Mahomes has got him to the Super Bowl, obviously. Josh Allen seems like he's right there. Rodgers, I don't know. Rodgers is going to Rodgers. And now, you know, we've added Deshaun Watson to the list.
Yeah, that's scary, man. I don't know. I agree that I think our roster is, you know, last year everyone was saying it was top 3, top 5 roster. Now, hopefully, you get Jadeveon Clowney back. That 2-year, $24 million is, you know, I think that's a hell of a deal if we can get him on that.
Yep. I wonder if that offer is still on the table. I wonder if they put that out there before they knew Watson was going to come to us. I don't even know if I don't know if it's going to be converted to signing bonus, kick the can down the road. I don't even know if we have that money to even offer him anymore.
That guaranteed money is like, you better guarantee us a Super Bowl. I mean, that's absurd. $230 million, the most ever, and he's
most ever. Jeez.
I mean, listen, I'm not saying that he's a bad quarterback, but he hasn't won an MVP. He hasn't won a Super Bowl, and the furthest he's gone into the playoffs is the divisional round. I'm not saying he's bad, but like $230 million. The picks aren't bad. I'm honestly not upset about the picks because I look at the Rams and I'm like, the Rams did the same thing. Maybe somehow you manage to get a first round pick from the Baker trade, which will happen now. And I haven't even gotten to talk about Baker, but that'll be for another time probably. Probably when he gets traded, we'll talk about that. But it's, I don't know. It's rough because we're gonna, for the next 5 years, it's gonna feel like you're right in the thick of it. And each time that you don't get it, it's like, all right, well, at least we're gonna be right back next year, right? You still have, I mean, you signed Nick Chubb last season. You signed Myles Garrett 2 seasons ago. Hopefully you can get Denzel Ward. And
Denzel's got to be the next move.
You're practically looking at the Rams. Like, they have Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and then you go and you look on the offensive side of their team. They have Cooper Kupp. We have Amari Cooper. Obviously, the one interesting thing about Super Bowl winning teams is like the running backs barely get paid anything. Nick Chubb is a top tier paid running back, but like, hey, that's not really going to change anything. It's going to be interesting. Stefanski's got some work cut out, reworking the offensive scheme this offseason now. Now, that's the interesting thing, Mike. I really think that's going to be like the true, like, this is like this first season is going to be like, boom, like, we know Andrew Berry's legit. We knew
that. We already knew that.
Right. It's Kevin Stefanski. Listen, we had the one good year with him, one coach of the year. 2 years.
People aren't going to like this, and I don't want this to be the case, but if Kevin Stefanski called the offense he did this year with Deshaun Watson under center, I think we win the division. I would expect it to be a lot better, but me and you know, bro. Me and you watch the games, dude. How many wins away from the division? 2, 3, and of course you have the Raiders debacle. That was nobody's fault. You got the Christmas Day game. You got both games against Pittsburgh where our defense plays lights out. You got the second game against Baltimore. It's 4 games right there, and you're looking at 12 wins. You're looking at easy division win. Cincinnati was clinched in the division last week of the season with 10 wins. Yep.
So, we also have to remember that the Ravens were
down bad.
The Bengals are up and coming. I mean, they're quite literally –
everybody's had good off seasons, dude.
Yeah, they look scary, and we still have to play all these other teams. The division is going to be the route. Here's 2 things. Here's what I've always said about – and it'll just be one thing. Here's what I've always said for the longest time since I can remember, like, truly following the Browns. It hasn't happened yet. You'll know this team is destined for more when they win week 1. They have not won week 1.
I want to see our schedule.
Unless we get like some cakewalk team, which I think would be BS. I don't think they'll do it. Well, they might do it probably because of Watson being suspended, but it would be huge. I mean, it would signify something to me if we won week 1 of whatever year. So
here's the thing. Here's the question, because let's just stay on the off season, because we got this report from Schefter, which seems to be finalized. Browns get Deshaun Watson and a 5th rounder. Texans get 3 firsts, a 3rd, and a 4th round pick. Now, here's my thing. Here's my question. Here's my next question. Let's just hop over free agency. Does Barry re-maneuver into the first round to get to try to get a wide receiver, try to get a Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave? 2 seconds of just like more picks.
Yeah, I think it's very possible.
Or do you think the wide receiver class is so deep that our second this year is going to be basically worth a first if they really like who they get? But it's like, imagine now remaneuvering into the first round to get an Olave. You might add like a Will Fuller. You're probably going to add another free agent or 2. You could add like a Cole Beasley in the slot.
I'm sure this team hasn't given up on Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'm willing to bet that he's a healthy, like, 3rd wide receiver on this team after who they could potentially pick in the first or second round.
Good 3rd. I think he'd be a good 3rd overall. I think that's where we saw him, play really good 2 years ago.
And I think the interesting part about the wide receiver conversation for the draft is that, there are guys that I think will slip. Jahan Dotson and Jamison Williams are 2 guys that I think could slip.
And this too, and you get something back from Baker. If you get a second back from Baker, you could realistically go a second this year. Here's just throwing out something crazy. Our second this year, the second you get from Baker, and our 3rd this year, one of our picks that isn't the compensatory pick from Kwesi going to Minnesota. You could move right up into the back end of the first round, and you could get somebody who's fallen. You could get a Burks who's slipping. You could get a Olave who's slipped all the way.
Dude, it would be crazy if we traded Baker to the Colts. Remind me, the Colts division is the Texans, the Colts, the Jaguars, and
I think the Colts would. I don't know how they didn't win that division.
What is
Tennessee? Tennessee's in that division.
Tennessee. And
That's
Tennessee,
how they didn't win it.
Tennessee feels like they're. I don't know. It feels like they're coming down a little bit. That would be.
You know what I would dislike from this?
Very
Now that you said Tennessee, I really, unless people are taking so little money, I don't want to see like a Julio Jones move though.
I would love to see Julio Jones.
No,
just because. Listen, if I'm correct, Julio's like 6'3". We don't currently have like a. I don't know if you
6'3".
Is he?
Yeah, I mean that's what they list him at.
I don't know. I've always thought the world of Julio Jones.
I think so, Sam. I think you get at least what you got from. I think the Wentz deal this year is kind of the thing for Baker, which was a second and a third conditional that if he played 75% of the snaps or something, it could turn into a second.
I feel like the Colts could view like, what's his name, Reich, Frank Reich, the coach. For all we know, he could view Baker if Baker has that season where you're like he didn't have it with the Browns and that's why he never got the extension. Realistically, he could go and have a really good season with the Colts. They make it to the playoffs and they're like, hey, Frank Reich hasn't had a quarterback. We're not going to draft high enough to get our franchise quarterback. We'll rock with Baker and build around him. Who knows? But like I think teams would be willing to give up a first for Baker, dependent on who's needing. I mean, I think Matt Ryan was always I think whoever was the recipient of Deshaun Watson was going to be the team giving the Colts their next starting quarterback. So who knows? Maybe we'll see. But Julio just has injury problems. Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's fair.
I don't know. I mean, just who knows? The whole offseason's changed now. You got to think about. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, dude. It's literally been such a crazy change of events. It just seems like the front office had to know, though, in some capacity, like that he. Who knows? The misreporting is really bad. I think that apparently we're the first team he said no to. Then he says yes to us. Apparently,
the reporting on this one was.
It's always bad, though. It's really bad. Like
I don't know if it was this bad though, but
yeah, no, it's not. No, you're right though. Not the reporting, but like some of these moves, like I don't know if I sent you the tweet. Like Ogunjobi failed a physical today, and Chicago was like no, and Darius Smith backed out at the last second. You had the whole Randy Gregory thing with like Dallas. Like I don't know.
Yeah, Turner for the most part, yeah, I'm comfortable with letting Keenum play 4 to 6 games.
He's going to stay on the roster.
Yeah, the Baker's 18 mil is gone. They're definitely going to keep Keenum for whatever the 7 or 9 mil he's making. It'll be interesting to see how the offense changes with Watson coming in. Will Stefanski it'll be interesting. I don't know when we'll ever figure out the suspension because he wasn't suspended last year. I don't know what the confusion was there of like he wasn't suspended, but the team kept him off the field he didn't want to play for them. Okay, was that? I don't know. Was Roger like, all right, as long as they're not going to play him, we're just not going to give him the suspension, right? Like I don't know. Like I don't know how that worked, but
I don't know. Are they viewing last year as just like the suspension? I don't know.
No chance. No
I don't
way.
think he got paid. He wasn't getting paid. He didn't play.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but I'd be fine with Keenum starting for
Big Ben was 6 games that was reduced, which I thought was weird looking into the research on that because I was going back and looking. I'm pretty sure 6 games got reduced to 4. I don't know if he won an appeal or something. I don't know. I'm not. That's why we actually had Zach in here. He's actually studying to become a lawyer. I don't know if he knew it. I don't know if he knows anything. I don't think he's probably looked at it, but could be interesting.
So Big Ben got how many?
He got 6. The league gave him 6 games, and then it somehow ended up only being 4.
All right, remind me of the Ben thing because Ben was 2 people, right? It
I
was
think I think
two
Turner
women.
is saying like he just settled in civil court. It was significantly less individuals involved.
Yeah. So
Also, this too. Sam
if
makes a
they
good point.
if they plan on giving him a suspension, let's even go back to like Miles getting a suspension. How many games did he miss?
Well, it was a through the end of the year, but I
It
think
was
he
indefinite.
missed 6 games.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
It was 6 or 8, but I think it was 6. But they made it seem like
Wait a minute. What about Kareem? Kareem got like 8 games, right? There was evidence to Kareem as well.
there was a clear-cut video in downtown Cleveland of that, though.
Right.
I don't know. There's no I don't know. That's the whole issue. That's the trickiness of the whole situation. He got 8 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. But bouncing around, we're all over the place because somebody thought maybe Baker to the Saints, and I don't want to be. I'm just gonna say how I feel. If the Saints think that Jameis Winston is a better option than Baker, that's kind of really all you need to know. Two. What I think is interesting about the Baker Mayfield saga. All year long, I'm hearing he doesn't have offensive wide receiver weapons. The first team that he would prefer to get traded to is the team that is the most similar to the Browns in the whole league, the Indianapolis Colts. Elite running game, pretty good offensive line, serviceable defense. I don't hear him in his camp saying he wants to go to Seattle and play with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and elite wide receivers because they know that their offensive line is bad. That was the observation I made about Baker requesting a trade. Just my 2 cents.
I'm so sorry. I was absolutely zoned out. Twitter is like on fire right now. So, my God, I don't even know.
The cap isn't real.
The cap is not real. The Saints have been provers of that for how many years now? All right, what was your 2 cents on the Baker
Just saying
stuff?
that Baker wanted to trade to Indianapolis.
Okay. Yeah,
not with like to Seattle with elite wide receivers.
Can I tell you straight up, they started doing the mocks of Baker in like different jerseys, and he doesn't look good in any of them.
He don't look good in a Browns jersey. He's built like a box.
Yeah, but like it looked like it worked on him. But like even I'm looking at the Watson stuff.
The best uniform Baker will ever play in is our Color Rush uniforms from whatever year.
Yeah.
My opinion.
If he goes to the Saints, it's not going to be the same as when Drew Brees was there because Sean Payton's not there, and they're not very different. But that team's very different from when Drew Brees was there. So, just trying to go through Twitter and read all this stuff.
Twitter's a mess.
Cavs died for Browns to be good, but the Cavs are still in it.
Cavs are coming on a couple hours.
I don't want to hear any of that. P.S. The cap isn't real. Yup. Oh boy. Wow. Oh wow.
We got a lot of people in chat. If you like the video, like the video. If you don't, thumbs it down. Honestly, I don't know. I'm gonna keep it level-headed. I'm just gonna hang out. I didn't think this was gonna happen. I think we kind of thought that the offseason was
shambles, maybe.
I mean, I did. That was more of you. I think I thought the offseason was going not great. It wasn't going great. It wasn't going electric.
I saw teams around us getting better, and I saw us in the midst of going back to potentially not knowing who our starting quarterback was going to be next year. So
we gave up 1 pick in this year's draft for Deshaun Watson.
Wow. Guardians died. That's fair. That's very fair.
This is true. This is true as well. I mean,
what are your thoughts?
Just like, I don't know, like I see things being said, and that's what I meant. Not the Browns in general, but like,
yeah.
It's whatever. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That's the beauty of the whole situation. It's also kind of the detriment to the whole situation. Trust me, when I say this, this isn't smoke and mirrors. Me and Justin talk internally behind the scenes. How are we going to cover this? We've done this from the beginning. We just don't talk about it with everything. Do we want to cover this like this? Do we want to talk about this like this? Do we want to have this build into the narrative? Do we think everybody on Twitter should be entitled to their own opinion? Of course.
Listen, if you want those kind of reactions, go back to my old page. Go watch us live react to Isaac Okoro getting drafted.
Yeah, if you guys want to see it, we've reacted, in ways in the past, but it's like we're definitely matured a little bit, I think. Mike saying Rappaport is back at it. What's he saying?
Oh, he's talking about the suspension? Hold up. Important contract note for Deshaun Watson, who got 5-year, $230 million contract. His base salary for 2022 is $1 million, which means if he's suspended, it'll come out of that base.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
He's only making $1 million this year. What is his cap hit? We need a capologist on retainer. There's a guy in the spaces who is a capologist, but.
Mike, can we bring Mike in real quick? Can he decipher that for us?
Because if he's only taking up $1 million of the cap, which I don't know if he is.
Oh, might mean he barely loses any money. They wanted to guarantee as much money. He wanted as much money guaranteed, and they didn't know if he was going to get suspended or not. So the suspension takes the guaranteed money and takes it away from him. So
it'll come out of that base. No, but I'm just saying if he misses 6 games, he's still going to make 700, or he's going to miss out on $350,000 basically.
Yeah.
And it's 200. He's making 220. Not 20.
He was already making
dollars.
He already had a contract extension in Houston, so he already had enough money to live comfortably. What's 1 year where he's going to get paid $1 million? Let's be honest. If any of us got paid $1 million, we can hopefully make it last for a very long time. But yeah, then he's going to get paid $230 million. What would you ever do with that kind of money, Joe?
But if nothing hits the cap this year, we could go and sign. We're going to have enough to pay Clowney, and we're going to have enough to bring other people in. That's what I'm assuming is the case.
But then how does that work the years after though? You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying about every general manager.
The cap is so bonk. I don't know how to put it down.
I think Denzel will be the same way. We'll probably extend Denzel and just be like, oh, he's not hitting any cap this year.
Ugh.
His cap hits are going to be like third or fourth year of the contract. Same way with Miles.
$1 million bonus.
I wouldn't be surprised if they kick some of Miles' money down the road. Just for fun, just to do it.
Yeah. Miles, I'm surprised Miles didn't restructure at the beginning of the end of the season, but good for him. Gets to make all of his money. What else? I guess the next step is just when do we hear from Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski? Mm-hmm. I wonder if Kevin will make any statements about how the offense will change or how it could change or whatnot. I don't want the offense to change drastically.
Right.
And I definitely don't want quarterback runs, but hey, if we played the pistol, I wouldn't be opposed. I would not be opposed to the pistol. It looks so good in San Francisco, and you have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb
and you're
Johnny Stanton.
I mean, that's what I'm curious though. Next, he can't answer any questions because who knows who's coming now? You don't know who's going to be on our line. It apparently Will Fuller was waiting. That's the only concrete name I've heard. Will Fuller was waiting to see where he was going to go, and now I do think people are talking about Allen Robinson. Was Allen Robinson waiting to see where he went? But the Rams are going to be a fine system for him. He's going to play great with the Rams, I think.
Oh, did you see Robert Woods as a trade? I saw a tweet that Robert Woods is a trade what is the word they use? Like not a target because they're offering him. They're like saying he's a, I don't know. It's whack. I'm trying to read this tweet here.
I don't
that
know.
has nothing to do with
I
football.
really do think a hot take that is going to come out of this, and I don't know if it's in this like collective bargaining agreement or however the NFL even does it, because I'm really not too familiar with the NFLPA over the last, since we've started, it's kind of since COVID, I knew a lot more about it because obviously JC Treader is the head of the NFLPA, but it's like I think they need to get they need to outlaw no trade clauses. They need to just stop doing that. I don't know why everybody just wants a no trade clause and be like, okay, now I don't know. They want to give the players a lot of power, but
Yeah,
I think the no trade clauses are kind of dumb.
Bebo makes a huge point. I would attach like a fourth.
Mm-hmm.
I would attach a fourth rounder and Baker and be like, give us a first. Like the Colts realistically are.
But who's going to give us a first for this year? Like, who in the AFC is going to give us a first for this draft?
Yeah, you're right. NFL draft. Not draft. I just want to see like where I don't even know where they are in terms of picking right now.
Ashton, I think we could meet in the middle. I'll get the owners get rid of the no trade clause and the players get rid of the tags. Does that make sense? Or is that that makes sense. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. That's a fair trade. No more tags because the players don't like the tags. Like I think David Njoku might be the most cordial player ever or maybe he just thought that was a complete like overpay. Like he was never even going to get that money anyway, even what he's gone through as a Browns player. But it's like the players don't want to play on the tags, especially running back, especially skill positions, running backs, wide receivers. No way. The players don't want to play on them. Devontae Adams literally went to the Raiders because I think the Packers said they were going to tag him and it pissed them off. It's my 2 cents.
I don't think the Colts have a first round pick.
Oh, they traded a first for Wentz? No.
I don't see.
That's what I'm saying. Like Seattle.
But
Seattle ain't giving us 9.
Well, here's what I was thinking. We were talking about trading back into the first. The Eagles have 3 first round picks. Granted, I don't know that they want to trade any of them.
I'd be looking to trade for the Chargers, but then again, are the Chargers giving us their back end first?
Right.
They don't really need that pick, but like they're going to want assets, whatever later assets do for them, or they're going to want a player like maybe they want Kareem Hunt, and we trade a second and Kareem for their first to get a wide receiver. I don't know. The options have just exponentially widened, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike is referring a Peloriso tweet.
What is the draft order? Let's just look at the draft order really quick.
Look for Peloriso real quick.
So we're not in 13 anymore.
Statement from NFL spokesman Brian McCarthy: in light of the Deshaun Watson trade, the league investigation is ongoing. Any transaction would have no effect on the NFL's ongoing and comprehensive investigation of the serious allegations against Deshaun Watson, nor would it affect his status under the collective bargaining agreement and the personal conduct policy.
Who tweeted this?
Tom Peloriso. If the league's investigation determines that Watson violated the personal conduct policy, discipline may be imposed pursuant to the policy and the CBA. So until they come up with their own findings, or probably until the court decides anything else, they're not going to suspend them, supposedly. Is that what is Mike? Is that how it sounds? My boy sounds yawning from all the mucus. That's a tug. My voice sounds clear. Do I sound clear? Do I sound better than yesterday? At least
better than yesterday, but you still don't sound great.
No, good. Yeah, definitely don't feel great. So, but it is what it is. I do need to take some Dayquil though. That's what I was gonna do after I got this pizza and stuff.
Man's is always ill.
Yeah, I got a bad immune system, that's for sure. Along with my airplane for a computer, apparently.
Yeah, dude, you need to clean up some of your space. You got some bad RAM over there or something.
All my Baker Mayfield pictures and videos that I was going to, post when we won a Super Bowl, with him. That's what it all is. So I guess I can get rid of that now. Nah, but what else can we talk about, Jeff? I'm like I told you, I had to go get a pizza, so I'm a wee
I
bit
don't know,
hungry,
man.
and I need to take some Dayquil. So
I mean, we could probably call it honestly. Yeah, I mean, we'll be back because that's just what's going to happen now. There's going to be moves. There's going to be dominoes. I would look out for maybe prioritizing the defensive side of the football, even though I guarantee we're going to bring in more things offensively. I think all your trade options are open. I still think you're taking calls for people. I really do. Maybe
calls
closer,
for
maybe closer to the draft. Closer to the draft, you're going to be taking calls for trades, maybe to move her around. But it's
people that
like,
are in 1 years.
yeah, it's like you need a D tackle, you need an edge, you need probably another wide receiver.
Yeah,
You need I think Clowney makes the most sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Just as far as ease, simpleness, like he's already been in the system, knows Joe Woods. Same way with keeping Denzel around, obviously. But it's like, do they just let Denzel play because there's no other way to deal it out with the money?
All right, before we get off, Aditi Kikablanca just spoke to one of Deshaun Watson's new Browns teammates. Went out of his way to call Baker Mayfield a true warrior and a fierce competitor, and talked about how cutthroat the scrutiny at quarterback can be. That said, he said, sometimes you're a Matthew Stafford away from a Lombardi. Quite literally what we said. I mean, I guess in terms of the Baker thing, I don't know who that player could be. It could be Wyatt Teller. It could be his best friend, Wyatt Teller, from what it sounds like. Or it could be someone who just doesn't want to, ruffle.
Could be Nick Chubb. It could be anybody, dude.
But I think that's a genuine thing. I think that's a good thing to say about him. I hope they're letting him know personally. But then again, I wouldn't be the one who said, yeah, that was me who told that to Kikablanca, because I don't want to say that you're not Matthew Stafford. But yeah, it's a business. That's at the end of the day, that's what this is. It's a business, and they made a business move. So,
yep.
Jeff, anything else to say? I mean, if you want to keep going, you can keep going. But
we've been on here, I think, long enough. I think that some other moves are going to come down.
Get back on tonight. Dude, I'll be taking some NyQuil and going to sleep at like 8 o'clock.
You're going to bed.
You can eat your nuggets. I'm gonna eat some cheese pizza and go to bed.
Attaboy.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out. Really shout out Jeff in the comments and in all of our videos. He does a great job of getting on top of this news, being able to go live right away and talk about it, hold off everything until I could get here for 20 minutes. And he did a great job and continues to do a great job. And like I said, subscribe, hit the like button, leave comments, tell us how you're feeling about all this. And with that all being said, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.